Part 1. The Secret Power of Mornings. It was still dark outside when young Benjamin Franklin lit his candle. The streets of Philadelphia were silent, but his little study was alive with scribbles of ink and the smell of burning wax. Every morning, before the world demanded his attention, Franklin would sit with his journal and ask himself one question. What good shall I do this day? That question was no accident. It was his way of starting with purpose, of reminding himself that his time on earth was short, and that each morning was an opportunity to do something meaningful. Now imagine this scene. A man who helped shape the very foundations of America, the printing press, libraries, electricity, the Constitution, began each day not with chaos, not with noise, not with rushing, but with a quiet, clear moment of direction. This wasn't just Franklin's secret. Long before him, another great leader, Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, kept a small journal by his bedside. He never wrote it for anyone else. Those words were for himself alone. He reminded his own heart of gratitude, purpose, and strength before he faced the storms of empire. And here's the truth. Greatness doesn't start in the middle of the day, when the phone is ringing, the kids are crying, or the boss is already shouting. Greatness begins in the first moments after you wake up. If you master your morning, you master your life. The Drift versus the Driven. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I knew two young men who worked in the same factory. Both had the same job, the same pay, the same routine. The first man, Tom, always came in late. He rolled out of bed without a plan. Most mornings he hit the snooze button until the very last minute. He showed up tired, bitter, and unprepared. The day controlled him. The second man, David, was different. He woke up an hour earlier than he needed to. He read a little each morning. He thought about what he wanted to accomplish at work. He carried a small notebook where he wrote his daily goals. 10 years later, Tom was still in the same job, still grumbling, still blaming the world. David, on the other hand, had become a manager, bought a house, and started a family. Now, was David smarter? Not at all. He just understood something most people miss. The way you start your morning sets the course for your entire life. That's why Napoleon Hill, after studying hundreds of the world's wealthiest and most successful people, wrote that success begins with definiteness of purpose. And the best time to set that purpose? Every morning. Step 1. Wake up with purpose. Think about your mornings right now. Do you wake up with a clear decision about who you want to be and what you want to accomplish? Or do you stumble out of bed, checking your phone, letting messages and problems decide the mood of your day? Most people drift. They wake up and let life happen to them. But successful people, the ones who build businesses, write books, raise strong families, and change history, do the opposite. They don't drift, they drive. Here's a truth worth writing down. Your morning is the foundation of your day. And your day is the foundation of your life. If your morning is weak, your life will be shaky. But if your morning is strong, your life will stand firm against storms. So before you even swing your legs out of bed, ask yourself, what am I working toward today? What truly matters to me right now? Don't wait for the world to tell you what's important. Decide it for yourself. Step 2. Begin with gratitude now. Here's the second secret. Most mornings, the human mind wakes up looking for problems. We think about bills, arguments, unfinished work, or mistakes from yesterday. If you let those thoughts take over, your day is poisoned before it even begins. But successful people use a different approach: gratitude. Before you think of what you lack, think of what you already have. Say to yourself, I'm thankful I woke up today. I'm thankful my body still carries me. I'm thankful for the roof over my head, the family I love, or even the quiet morning itself. These might seem small, but the brain doesn't treat them as small. Science shows that gratitude rewires your mind to see possibilities instead of obstacles. Marcus Aurelius said, when you rise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. That's not philosophy. That's power. Gratitude is a mental switch. It changes your focus from weakness to strength, from fear to confidence. And once your mind is tuned to gratitude, you walk into the day calmer, clearer, stronger. Step 3. Feed your mind with wisdom. The third morning secret is this: your mind is like a garden. Whatever seeds you plant in it will grow. If you feed it trash first thing in the morning, gossip, social media arguments, mindless noise, you will reap weeds all day long. But if you plant good seeds, wisdom seeds, your mind will grow strong. Read a page of a good book. Listen to a mentor or a wise teacher. Study a thought that lifts you higher. Even 10 minutes of learning in the morning is like compound interest for your brain, Napoleon Hill said. Every man is what he is because of the dominating thoughts which he permits to occupy his mind. So why not choose those dominating thoughts first thing in the morning? Franklin chose them. Aurelius chose them. Every great leader you admire, whether in business, sports, or history, chose them, and so can you. The 1% advantage here is the best part. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. You don't need to suddenly wake up at 4 a.m. and run 10 miles and read 100 pages before breakfast. All you need is 1% improvement each morning. If you wake up tomorrow with purpose, with gratitude, and with wisdom, you will already be stronger than you were today. Do it again the next day, and the next. A 1% gain, repeated daily, multiplies into an unstoppable force. That's how lives are transformed, not by one big leap, but by 1,000 small, consistent steps. Tomorrow's sunrise. When the sun rises tomorrow, you will face a choice. Will you drift, like Tom, letting the day push you around? Or will you rise like Franklin and Aurelius, with purpose, gratitude, and wisdom? Remember this truth. Once you master your mornings, you begin to master your life. And in the next chapter, I'll show you how to design a morning practice so powerful and so simple, it will set you apart from the crowd, step by step. Because success is not an accident. It is built each morning, one sunrise at a time. Backhand index pointing right. That's part 1, almost equals 1,000 words. Would you like me to continue part 2 in the same style, new story plus lesson, or would you like me to first give you a 6-part outline so you can see the big picture flow before I expand each part? Part 2. Feeding your mind for success. The year was 399 BC when the people of Athens gathered to put one man on trial. His name was Socrates, and he had spent his life doing something unusual. He asked questions. Not the kind of questions that make small talk, but deep questions that force people to think about the meaning of their lives. Socrates was not the richest man in Athens. He wasn't a general, a king, or a famous athlete. Yet, his influence was so powerful that leaders feared him. They accused him of corrupting the youth because he dared to challenge people to examine their lives. In the end, Socrates was sentenced to death. But before he died, he left behind one sentence that still shakes the world today. The unexamined life is not worth living. What did he mean? He meant that drifting through life without learning, without reflecting, without growing, is no life at all. To live fully, you must feed your mind, question your habits, and choose the ideas that shape your destiny. And here's the secret. The best time to do this is in the morning. Why most people stay ordinary? Let's be honest. Most people begin their day with noise. The first thing they do when they wake up is grab their phone. They scroll through gossip, complaints, negative news, and endless distractions. Their minds become like a trash can, filled with information that doesn't make them stronger, wiser, or happier. They wonder why they feel stressed, why their energy is low, why life feels out of control. But the truth is simple. If you fill your head with junk, you'll produce junk. Now compare that with the people who rise above the ordinary. They treat their mind like gold. They know that what you put into your head each morning will echo through your whole day. Instead of gossip, they choose wisdom. Instead of noise, they choose knowledge. Instead of drifting, they choose growth. This choice, made every morning, is one of the main reasons some people succeed while others stay stuck. Knowledge as a weapon. Napoleon Hill once said that knowledge itself is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Think about it. A man may have a library full of books, but if he never opens them, what good are they? Another man may read just 1 page a day and apply it, and he'll outgrow the first man in no time. Your brain is like a sharp blade. If you don't sharpen it with learning, it becomes dull. And a dull blade can't cut through problems. But when you sharpen your mind each morning with wisdom, you walk into the day like a warrior ready for battle. Let me tell you about Henry Ford. He wasn't highly educated by traditional standards. In fact, critics called him ignorant because he didn't know the answers to many questions reporters asked him. But Ford replied, "I don't have to know everything. I have a row of buttons on my desk, and when I press one, I can summon a man who knows." Ford understood the principle. Wisdom is not about storing facts in your head. It's about knowing where to get the right knowledge and how to apply it. That's why his mornings were filled with thinking, planning, and feeding his mind with useful ideas. That mental diet gave him the power to build one of the greatest industries in America. Your mind in the morning, your brain is like a sponge in the early hours. It's fresh, focused, and ready to absorb. If you use that time to learn, even for just 10 or 15 minutes, you plant seeds that will grow all day long. But if you waste those golden hours on nonsense, you weaken yourself before the race even begins. Here's the truth. You don't need to spend hours studying every morning. A single chapter, a single story, or even a single inspiring quote can shift your thinking for the entire day. Over weeks and months, those small lessons build up, layer upon layer, until you become a completely different person, stronger, wiser, and more capable. Choose your teachers wisely. Not all voices deserve space in your mind. Some people will fill you with excuses, complaints, and bitterness. Others will inspire you to rise higher. You must choose your teachers carefully. Read books by people who have accomplished something real. Study the lives of those who started with nothing and built something meaningful. Listen to mentors who speak from experience, not from envy. Avoid the loud crowd of complainers who waste their breath blaming the world. Their words will only chain you to the same level they're stuck at. Remember, your mind is your most valuable possession. Guard it like treasure. Feed it only with what strengthens you. Goals, from dreams to reality. Now, let's talk about another morning habit of the great achievers. Writing down goals. A goal that stays in your head is just a dream. But a goal written on paper is a plan. It's no longer a cloud floating in your imagination. It's something you can see, touch, and act on. Each morning, take a few minutes to write down what you want to achieve that day. Not just vague ideas like, be successful, or be happy. Be specific. Write, call one new client, finish the report, walk 2 miles, show kindness to one person. At night, when you look back, you'll know whether you lived with intention or drifted. Most people drift. They wake up hoping things will work out, but they never decide what working out actually means. Without clear goals, they wander through life reacting instead of directing. Writing goals every morning is like drawing a map. Once you have a map, you stop getting lost. You stop wandering. You start moving with purpose. The power of accountability. Here's another reason writing goals works. It makes you accountable. When you see your goal on paper, it stares back at you. You can't ignore it. You can't pretend it doesn't matter. That written goal whispers, are you going to take action, or are you going to make excuses? Action is what separates dreamers from achievers. The world is full of dreamers. But the men and women who rise to greatness are the ones who take consistent daily action toward their goals. And the best way to create that consistency is to begin every morning with your goals written down in front of you. Small steps, big change. Don't overwhelm yourself. Start small. If you're not used to writing goals, begin with just 1 or 2 each morning. If you're not used to reading, start with 5 minutes of learning each day. The key is consistency. Like drops of water carving through stone, small daily actions create massive results over time. Think of Thomas Edison. He didn't invent the light bulb in a single burst of genius. He failed thousands of times, but every day, he wrote down what he would try next. That habit of persistence, that daily sharpening of ideas, gave the world light. Tomorrow morning, so when you wake up tomorrow, ask yourself, what will I feed my mind today? Who will I learn from? What goals will I write down and act on? Don't let the world throw garbage into your brain. Don't drift aimlessly through the hours. Instead, take control. Feed your mind with wisdom, set your goals, and step into the day like a builder shaping the future. Because in the end, greatness isn't built by chance. It's built by choice, your choice, one morning at a time. Backhand index pointing right. That's part 2, almost equals 1,000 words, rewritten in a Napoleon Hill style story-driven format. Would you like me to sketch out the themes for all 6 parts, so you see the full roadmap, or should I continue directly with part 3 in the same style? Part 3. The morning habits that build winners. One cold morning in 1879, a tired man sat in his workshop surrounded by hundreds of burned-out wires and broken glass bulbs. His name was Thomas Edison. For months he had been trying to invent a working electric light bulb. People laughed at him. Some even called him foolish. He had already failed thousands of times. Yet each morning, before most of the world had woken up, Edison walked into that workshop with the same determination. Today I will try again. He didn't just dream about success. He wrote down clear steps, tested them, and visualized his invention shining bright. And after countless failures, one morning, the bulb finally lit. That tiny light grew into one of the greatest revolutions in human history. And it all started with simple daily habits, writing goals, visualizing success, and tackling the hardest challenges first. Greatness is never an accident. It's built one morning at a time. And today, I'll show you how to build those same habits into your own mornings, just like Edison, Napoleon Hill, and countless other achievers did. Write down your daily goals. Most people drift through their day like a ship without a compass. They hope things go well, but they never decide what well actually means. Successful people are different. They set their direction clearly. Every morning, before you rush into the noise of the world, take 5 minutes to write down 3 things you want to accomplish today. They don't have to be huge. In fact, the smaller and more specific, the better. Maybe you want to complete your homework without procrastinating. Maybe you want to help your mom with chores. Maybe you want to practice your guitar for 20 minutes. Write them down clearly, on paper, not just in your head. Because once a goal is written, it becomes real. It stares back at you, daring you to act. When you complete those 3 small goals, something magical happens. You prove to yourself that you can follow through. You build confidence. And that confidence grows day after day until it becomes unstoppable momentum. Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich that definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. Writing your goals each morning is how you create that definiteness. You stop wandering and start directing. And as you check off each goal, you feel the quiet joy of progress. That joy is the fuel of champions. Build momentum with small wins. Here's the secret. Small daily goals lead to big victories. Edison didn't invent a light bulb in one day. He set daily goals. Test 1 more filament. Try 1 more material. Adjust 1 more design. Those small wins added up to greatness. The same principle applies to you. Want to improve your grades? Set a daily goal to read 1 chapter, or solve 10 math problems. Want to save money? Set a daily goal to skip 1 unnecessary purchase. Each win is like a brick. And day by day, those bricks build the house of your dreams. Keep your goals where you can see them, on your desk, on your mirror, in your notebook. Let them remind you who you are becoming. See it before you achieve it. Now let's talk about a secret tool used by champions: visualization. Your brain is an incredible machine. It cannot tell the difference between something you imagine vividly and something that actually happens. That's why athletes, inventors, and leaders practice seeing their success before it arrives. Walt Disney once stood in the middle of an empty field in California. To others, it was just dirt and weeds. But in his mind, he saw children laughing, families smiling, and magical rides filling the air with joy. That clear mental picture became Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. Every morning, close your eyes and imagine your own success. See yourself completing your goals. Feel the pride, the confidence, the energy. Hear the applause of your classmates, the congratulations of your coach, the smile of your family. The more vividly you see it, the more your brain believes it's possible. And once your brain believes, your body follows. Remember, losers visualize failure. Winners visualize success. Choose which side you want to be on. Do the hardest task first. There's an old saying. If you have to eat a frog, eat it first thing in the morning. That frog is your hardest task, the one you've been avoiding. It might be studying for a tough exam, having a difficult conversation, or finishing that big project. Most people avoid their frogs. They waste the morning on easy tasks that don't matter. They feel busy, but they're not making real progress. Successful people do the opposite. They attack the hardest task first, while their energy and focus are strongest. Once the frog is eaten, everything else feels easier. Think of it this way. If you climb the tallest mountain in the morning, the rest of the day feels like walking downhill. When you finish your hardest task first, you feel powerful. You build courage. You prove to yourself that you can handle big challenges. That confidence carries into every part of your day. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Don't wait until you feel ready. Just start. The energy will come once you begin. Master your thoughts. Your thoughts are the seeds of your future. Plant weeds and you'll harvest weeds. Plant flowers and you'll enjoy beauty. Buddha once said, What you think, you become. Napoleon Hill echoed this when he taught. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Most people let their thoughts run wild. They wake up saying, I'm tired. Today will be awful. I can't do this. And guess what? Their day becomes exactly that. Winners take control of their thoughts. They replace, I can't, with, I'm learning. They replace, this is too hard, with, this is making me stronger. Every morning, check your thoughts. Ask, is this thought true? Is it helpful? Does it move me forward? If not, let it go and replace it with a stronger one. You are not your thoughts. You are the master of your thoughts. And when you master your thoughts, you master your life. Speak affirmations out loud. Words have power. They can build you up or tear you down. Sadly, most people speak to themselves like their own worst enemy. They say, I'm not good enough. I always fail. I'll never succeed. But successful people speak affirmations, positive, powerful statements, every morning. Say them out loud so your ears can hear them. Feel the words as you say them. I am capable of great things. I grow stronger every day. I can handle any challenge that comes my way. At first it might feel strange, but keep going. Your brain believes what it hears repeatedly. Over time, you'll start to see yourself differently. You'll walk taller. You'll face challenges with courage. You'll expect success instead of fearing failure. That shift in belief is what turns ordinary people into leaders. Tomorrow morning, here's your challenge. 1. Write down 3 clear goals. Point 2. Visualize yourself achieving them. Point 3. Attack your hardest task first. Point 4. Control your thoughts. Point 5. Speak affirmations out loud. These steps may seem simple, but they are the very habits that built Edison, Disney, and every other person who rose from ordinary to extraordinary. Remember, greatness isn't built in one big leap. It's built through small, disciplined steps, taken every single morning. Start tomorrow. And don't stop. Backhand index pointing right. That's part 3, almost equals 1,000 words, rewritten in engaging, Napoleon Hill style storytelling. Would you like me to continue directly with part 4, or first give you a 6-part outline so you can see the complete journey of the book before we write further? Part 4, The Power of Persistence. Why Winners Never Quit. The hook. One cold winter morning in 1879, a tired young man sat in his small workshop in Menlo Park, New Jersey. His hands were covered in soot, his eyes red from lack of sleep. He had just failed again. His invention still wouldn't work. Most people would have quit after 10 failures. Others might have given up after 100. But this man? He had already failed more than 9,000 times. And yet he kept going. His name was Thomas Edison, and the invention he refused to quit on was the electric light bulb. The story: Edison's neighbors thought he was crazy. His assistants sometimes lost hope. People laughed at him. Why keep trying when it's impossible? They asked. But Edison had a secret that Napoleon Hill would later call the foundation of all success: persistence. When reporters asked Edison how he felt about failing so many times, he smiled and said, I didn't fail 9,000 times. I found 9,000 ways that don't work. That's the mindset of a winner. That's the mindset you and I must adopt if we want to achieve our dreams. The lesson Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich: that persistence is to the human character what carbon is to steel. It makes you strong, unbreakable, and unstoppable. Every successful person you admire has walked the same road, the road of persistence. Henry Ford failed and went bankrupt 5 times before he built the Ford Motor Company. Colonel Sanders, the founder of KFC, had his chicken recipe rejected over 1,000 times before someone finally said yes. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first TV job because she was told she wasn't fit for television. Imagine if they had quit after failure number 1. Or failure number 10. The world would have lost some of its greatest success stories. The truth is simple. Success almost always comes right after the point where most people quit. A farmer's wisdom. Let me tell you a little story from the American countryside. There was a farmer who planted bamboo seeds in his field. Every day, he watered them faithfully. Every day, he looked for signs of growth. But nothing happened. 1 year passed. Then 2 years. Then 3. Still, nothing broke through the soil. His neighbors laughed at him. You're wasting your time, they said. But the farmer kept watering. For years passed, still nothing. Then, in the 5th year, something amazing happened. The bamboo shot up, growing over 90 feet tall in just 6 weeks. Now here's the question: did the bamboo grow 90 feet in 6 weeks? Or did it grow 90 feet in 5 years? The answer is 5 years. All that time, the bamboo was growing underground, building a root system strong enough to support its massive growth. That's exactly how persistence works. You may not see results at first. The world may laugh at you. But as long as you keep going, you are building invisible strength beneath the surface. One day your success will shoot up like that bamboo, and everyone will call you an overnight success. The struggle of a young man. Let's bring it back to you. Maybe you've tried to lose weight before, but gave up after a few weeks. Maybe you've tried to save money, but spent it all after a few months. Maybe you've started learning a skill, but stopped when it got hard. I want you to imagine something. What if you had simply kept going? Where would you be today if you hadn't quit? Napoleon Hill said. Most people are ready to throw their aims and purposes overboard at the first sign of opposition. Few carry on despite all opposition until they attain their goal. Those few are the ones who succeed. The question is, are you going to be like most people? Or are you going to be one of the few, turning failure into fuel? Here's a truth you need to write down. Failure is never final unless you quit. Think about it. Every failure teaches you something. Every mistake points you in a better direction. Every no gets you one step closer to a yes. Edison didn't quit. Ford didn't quit. Oprah didn't quit. Walt Disney didn't quit. Neither should you. When things go wrong, and they will, don't see it as the end. See it as a lesson. See it as training. See it as the price you pay for success. Winners don't run away from failure. They use failure as fuel. A simple exercise for you. Here's a challenge for today. Write down something you've quit in the past, a goal, a habit, or a dream. Be honest with yourself. Now ask yourself, do I still want this? Does this dream still matter to me? If the answer is yes, pick it back up. Restart. Begin again. Persistence doesn't mean you never stumble. Persistence means you get back up every single time. Like a boxer in the ring, you may get knocked down. But the fight is only lost if you refuse to get back up. The marathon lesson in America. Thousands of people run marathons every year. That's 26.2 miles of running. For many runners, the hardest point comes around mile 20. It's called the wall. Their legs feel heavy. Their chest burns. Their mind screams, quit! 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 But here's the secret. If they keep going just a little longer, something amazing happens. Their body finds new strength. Their second wind kicks in. Suddenly, they realize they can finish. Life is like that marathon. Your wall will come. But if you push through, your second wind will come too. The call to persistence. Now I ask you, what is your light bulb? What is your bamboo? What is your marathon? What dream have you started but abandoned? What goal have you watered but stopped too soon? Remember this. The difference between the person who succeeds and the person who fails is often just one more try. When you wake up tomorrow and face your challenges, whisper this to yourself. I will persist until I succeed. Write it on paper. Say it out loud. Believe it with your whole heart. Because persistence is not just a habit. Persistence is a way of life, and those who live it will always find success. White heavy checkmark action step for today. Choose one area of your life where you've been inconsistent. Commit to showing up every single day for the next 30 days. Even if it's just 10 minutes a day, don't quit. Remember, your bamboo is growing underground. One day, it will shoot up, and the world will call you unstoppable. Fire. That completes part 4, The Power of Persistence, around 1,000 words. Do you want me to continue and draft part 5 now, where we dive into Napoleon Hill's idea of definiteness of purpose, the single clear vision that drives all achievement? Part 5, The Secret of a Definite Purpose. The hook. One hot summer day in 1915, a young man walked into the office of one of the richest men in America, Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate. Carnegie had built a fortune so massive that it shocked the world. The young man's name was Napoleon Hill. He didn't know it yet, but this meeting would change his life, and eventually, the lives of millions of people around the world. Carnegie leaned forward in his chair, looked Hill in the eye, and said, Young man, the world belongs to the person who knows where he is going. Most people drift through life with no purpose. They never decide what they want. And because they never decide, they never get it. The lesson Carnegie believed that the starting point of all achievement was what he called the definiteness of purpose, a clear, burning goal that drives every decision, every action, and every thought. He explained to Hill that most people live like ships without a rudder. They wake up, go to work, complain, and go to bed. They wait for life to happen instead of directing their life. But successful people? They know exactly what they want, and they organize their entire lives to get it. Napoleon Hill spent the next 25 years interviewing more than 500 of the most successful people in America. Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Theodore Roosevelt, John D. Rockefeller, and he discovered they all had this same quality, a definite purpose. The drifter versus the driver. Think of two young men starting out in life. The first man is a drifter. He takes whatever job he can find. He doesn't set goals. He spends his money without thinking. When people ask him what he wants in life, he shrugs and says, "I don't know. I'm just seeing where life takes me." 10 years later, he's still stuck in the same place, working for someone else's dream, frustrated and broke. The second man is a driver. He decides early what he wants: to start his own business, to become a teacher, to build a farm, or to help people in some way. He writes it down. He makes a plan. Every decision he makes, how he spends his time, who he spends it with, what he learns, moves him closer to that purpose point. 10 years later, he has built something meaningful. He is respected, confident, and successful. Both men had the same opportunities. The difference? One drifted, the other drove. A story from the field. Let me tell you a story from the early 20th century. Henry Ford didn't start out wealthy. He was just a farm boy in Michigan. But he had a definite purpose: to build an affordable car that the average American family could own. At the time, cars were toys for the rich. Most people laughed at the idea of making them cheap enough for ordinary folks. But Ford never lost sight of his purpose. He worked day and night, failing again and again, until he created the Model T, the car that changed America. If Ford had drifted, if he had just taken a job fixing farm machines and never set a clear goal, the world would be very different today. That's the power of a definite purpose. The burning desire. Napoleon Hill discovered something deeper. A definite purpose must be backed by burning desire. It's not enough to say, "I'd like to be rich someday." That's weak. That's just a wish. You need to want your purpose so badly that it burns in your heart like fire. It has to be strong enough to pull you out of bed in the morning, to make you work when you're tired, to keep you going when everyone else tells you to quit. Carnegie told Hill, "When you have a definite purpose and back it with burning desire, nothing can stop you. Not poverty. Not failure. Not ridicule. Not even the passage of time." An exercise for you. So, what is your definite purpose? If I asked you right now, what do you really want in life? Could you answer me clearly? Take out a piece of paper. Write down your biggest, clearest goal. Don't just say, "I want to be happy," or "I want to be successful." That's too vague. Instead, write something specific. "I want to own my own bakery by the time I'm 35. I want to write a book that inspires people. I want to become financially free so I can take care of my family. I want to earn my college degree in the next 4 years." Write it in the present tense, as if it's already happening. For example, "I own a successful bakery that serves hundreds of happy customers." Then, every morning and every night, read this goal out loud. Let it sink into your subconscious mind. Let it become a part of you. A soldier's story. During World War II, a young soldier named Jim had one definite purpose: to return home and start a farm. Every time the battle got hard, every time fear crept in, he thought about his farm. He pictured the red barn, the green fields, the rows of corn. That picture gave him strength to keep going. He survived the war, came home, and built that farm. And he told his children, "The only reason I made it through those battles was because I knew what I was living for." That's what a definite purpose does. It gives you courage when life is hard. It gives you energy when you feel weak. It gives you direction when the world tries to distract you. The cost of no purpose. On the other hand, look around and you'll see people who never decide on a purpose. They jump from job to job, from relationship to relationship, from hobby to hobby. They complain that life is unfair. They envy people who succeed. But the truth is, they never chose a destination for themselves. As Napoleon Hill wrote, "The majority of people have no definite purpose, and because of this, they are easily influenced by the opinions of others. They go through life like ships without sails, tossed by every wind of circumstance." Don't let that be you. The call to action: you must decide, today, what your definite purpose will be. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait until you feel ready. You'll never feel completely ready. The act of deciding is what makes you ready. Choose your purpose. Write it down. Burn it into your mind. Back it with a burning desire. And then take daily action toward it, no matter how small. Remember, Andrew Carnegie built a fortune, Henry Ford built cars, Edison built light, and Walt Disney built dreams, all because they knew exactly what they wanted and refused to let go of it. You can do the same. White heavy checkmark action step for today. 1. Write down your definite purpose in life. Point 2. Read it aloud twice a day, morning and night. Point 3. Take one small action today that moves you closer to it. Final thought: your life is like a blank page. Most people let others write their story. But you can be the author, and the first line of your story must be clear. This is what I want. This is my definite purpose. When you decide that, your life stops drifting and starts moving with power. And that, my friend, is the beginning of greatness. Fire. That completes part 5, The Secret of a Definite Purpose, around 1,000 words. Would you like me to go ahead and write part 6, the grand finale, where we bring all lessons together with a powerful call to action, like Hill did, and end with a motivational push for your readers to take charge of their destiny? Part 6, The Master Key to Success. The hook. In 1937, when Napoleon Hill finally published his great work Think and Grow Rich, he had spent more than 25 years studying the most successful men and women in America. When people asked him, "What is the secret of success?" he didn't hesitate. Hill answered with one powerful truth: "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve." This was not just an idea. It was the conclusion of a lifetime of study, thousands of hours of interviews, and real stories of people who started with nothing but a dream. And now, my friend, it is your turn. The story of Carnegie's challenge. Remember the story of young Napoleon Hill sitting across from Andrew Carnegie? Carnegie told him something remarkable. He said, "If you can take this philosophy of success and share it with the world, you will help millions of people. But most will not act. Only those with courage and faith will truly change their lives." Carnegie was right. Most people hear the truth, but they do nothing. They keep living as they always have. They keep drifting. But a small group, the ones who decide to act, end up changing the course of their lives forever. The question now is, which group will you belong to? The final ingredient, faith plus action. Throughout this book, you've discovered the morning habits of greatness. Waking up with purpose, practicing gratitude, feeding your mind with wisdom, writing your goals, visualizing success, doing the hardest task first, controlling your thoughts, speaking affirmations, living with a definite purpose. These are the building blocks. But there is one last ingredient, the glue that makes everything work. That ingredient is faith and action. Faith is believing in yourself, even when nobody else does. Action is moving forward, even when you feel afraid. Faith without action is just dreaming. Action without faith is just struggling. But faith plus action, that's unstoppable. Thomas Edison's persistence. Think about Thomas Edison, the man who gave the world the electric light bulb. Do you know how many times he failed before he succeeded? More than 10,000 experiments. 10,000 failures. If Edison had stopped at 100 failures, or 1,000, or even 9,999, we would still be living in darkness. What kept him going? Faith in his purpose and relentless action. When reporters asked him how he felt about failing so many times, Edison replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That is the mindset of greatness. Turning dreams into reality. Napoleon Hill discovered that success always begins the same way. 1. A clear desire. 2. A definite purpose. 3. A plan. 4. Faith and persistence. Every story of achievement, from Abraham Lincoln rising from poverty to become president, to Henry Ford creating affordable cars, to Walt Disney building a kingdom of imagination, follows this formula. Your story can follow it too. Your plan of action. Let's bring it home. Here is how you can put everything together into one powerful daily practice. 1. Wake up with purpose. Before your feet hit the floor, decide what matters most today. 2. Gratitude first. Think of 3 things you're thankful for. This fills your mind with strength. 3. Feed your mind. Spend 10 to 15 minutes reading or listening to wisdom that builds you up. 4. Write your goals. Choose 3 specific goals for today. Write them down and commit to finishing them. 5. Visualize success. Close your eyes for a few minutes and see yourself winning. Feel it as if it's already real. 6. Do the hardest task first. Don't delay. Tackle it with all your energy. 7. Guard your thoughts. Keep your mind focused on solutions, not problems. Replace every doubt with courage. 8. Speak affirmations aloud. Declare who you are becoming. Say it until you believe it. 9. Live with definite purpose. Keep your long-term goal in front of you like a guiding star. Do this every morning, and you will set yourself apart from 95% of people who simply drift through life. A true story of transformation. There was a man named Charles Schwab, who started as a poor steel worker. He wasn't born rich, and he didn't have special connections. But he had a burning purpose to become great. Andrew Carnegie noticed his drive and gave him an opportunity. Schwab worked harder, studied more, and set clear daily goals. Eventually, he became the president of Carnegie Steel and one of the richest men in America. What made the difference? Schwab lived with purpose. He didn't drift. He directed, and you can do the same. The enemy within, excuses now, I must warn you. The greatest enemy you will face is not out there in the world. It is not lack of money, or lack of education, or lack of luck. The greatest enemy lies inside your own mind. It whispers excuses. I'll start tomorrow. I don't have enough time. I'm not smart enough. I don't feel ready. These are lies. Lies designed to keep you drifting. Lies designed to steal your destiny. The truth is, you already have what it takes. You already have enough time. You already have enough intelligence. You already have the strength. The only thing missing is a decision. The call to decision. So now, as we come to the end of this journey together, I challenge you, just as Carnegie challenged Napoleon Hill over a century ago. Decide today to take control of your life. Decide that you will no longer drift. Decide that you will live with purpose. Decide that you will rise each morning with clarity, gratitude, and faith. Because once you make that decision, the rest of your life changes. The Master. Key, remember this. Purpose gives you direction. Faith gives you strength. Action gives you results. This is the master key to success. Carnegie knew it. Edison lived it. Ford proved it. Hill taught it. And now, you hold it in your hands. The question is, will you use it? Final words. Napoleon Hill ended Think and Grow Rich with a powerful reminder. You are the master of your destiny. You can influence, direct, and control your own environment. You can make your life what you want it to be. My friend, this is your moment. The sun will rise tomorrow. When it does, you have a choice. To drift like most people, letting life push you around, or to rise with purpose, gratitude, and faith, and start building the life you truly want. The choice is yours. And the time is now. So stand tall. Write your purpose. Speak your affirmations. Take bold action. And remember, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. White heavy check mark. Final action step. Tonight before you sleep, write down your definite purpose. Tomorrow morning, rise early and follow the 9 steps. Do this for 30 days straight, and watch your life transform. If this message inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Backhand index pointing right. Subscribe so you never miss the next lesson in success. Backhand index pointing right. Like this video if it gave you value. Backhand index pointing right. Comment below and tell us your biggest goal. You never know who you might inspire. Backhand index pointing right. And of course, share this with friends and family, because success grows when we grow together. Remember, success loves speed. Don't wait. Take action now. Rock it.